Here we go! Here we go!
This is the Archie Miller Show, an inside look at Dayton Flyers basketball through the eyes of the coach. Now, here's your host, Mike Hartsock.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Archie Miller Show. And it's good to be back home after 10 days on the road. That's a long time to be away, but a productive away road trip with 3 wins and 4 tries.
Yeah, it was on the schedule, and before we took off for Georgia Tech, we kind of took a deep breath and said, this is going to be one of those stretches that is either going to make or break us a little bit. And, you know, being able to go on the road to Georgia Tech and win, huge confidence boost. It gave us some peace of mind going out to Maui, and then obviously had some great preparation. Kids were really ready to play once we got out there. And, you know, 3 games in 3 days can be contagious. You know, we had a lot of positive momentum. Our crowd was unbelievable. And when you're in Maui, it's kind of hard not to enjoy it, so to speak, at the same time. But I will tell you this, it's good to be back home.
No question you learned a lot about this team. Had some question marks going into the road trip that maybe has some answers now.
Well, I think one thing is for sure that we really are starting to understand our rotation a little bit, and giving guys certain ropes and certain windows in the game. Now we can trust them a little bit more. I think all 3 freshmen have grown up before our eyes a little bit here in high-level competition, where we're learning about them in circumstances that you're not going to figure out until conference play in some cases. So all 3 of those guys are getting better, and I like the way that everybody else is coming around. You know, I think we had a lot of different guys step up in a lot of different games, and for the most part, we played between 10 and 11 guys, and you know, I'm not sure that there was a deeper team that I saw out there.
Maui started with Gonzaga, the number 11 team in the country, as the Flyers took on a very good basketball team. Mark Few has strung together a lot of wins, and we're going to forget about the first half because it was kind of trouble for the Flyers. We're going to pick this thing up in the second half. That's when things got really good. By the way, if you didn't see it, there's the scenery that you may have missed out there in Maui. Down low, Devin Oliver gets a tip and gets it back up and in. You start making things come right out of the locker room.
You know, we weren't as panicked as you may think at halftime. You know, we didn't play particularly well in offense. A lot of it was due to us and our execution. And I thought in the second half we get a couple things cleaned up, we get a couple to go in the basket, it would feel a little different. And that's exactly what happened.
Confident shooting the basketball. Kari Price knocks down a 3-pointer. You were deadly from outside the arc in the final 20.
Yeah, we had a lot of good ball movement. We had a lot of good player movement. And if you watch the second half compared to the first, you saw guys really sharing the ball and moving it. And I thought some of the shots we got were great.
That one tied the game at 43. You're down a point here and trying to make things happen. Jordan Seibert had a heck of a tournament.
He did. He had a great tournament. He scored the ball for us really well. He shot the ball with great confidence, and I thought he showed, obviously, you know, very early on in the season, he's going to be a real factor for us.
Kevin Pagos really good on their end of it. He scored 27 points, kick it down into the corner, and Scoochie knocks down a 3.
Yeah, good shot for Scooch. You know, Scooch is a better shooter, and his percentages kind of hold. And good pass by Kendall as well.
Keep moving the ball. It's a down-to-the-wire basketball game here. 10 minutes left to play. The Flyers start pushing. Kendall Pollard taking it hard to the hole and one.
He had a great game against Gonzaga. I thought he was a real burst off the bench. Had a couple big transition baskets for us in big moments when we needed them.
Flyers up by 2. Missed shot, tipped ball out. You've got numbers here coming the other way. And again, slicing down the lane, it's Pollard, tipped back up and in by Deshaun.
Yep, it was a good transition. We had a lot of good defense to offense.
Offensive rebound here. There he is, Pollard again. Kendall really came to Maui and asserted himself right away.
He did. He's getting a bigger role right now. I think we play better with him in the game sometimes behind Demo, and he's really earned it. He's done a nice job.
Talk about roles. Devin Oliver just had an outstanding tournament.
He did. He had all-tournament team in Maui, which is a credit to him, but more importantly, the way he's playing defensively, the way he's leading off the floor is the thing that's probably the most inspiring thing about him.
Flyers up by 5. That's cut to 2 after a basket with 6.5 minutes left to play. It's a 4-point game here. Still plenty of basketball, and you can't back down. Got to keep on the attack, and Seibert does that, knocking down a 3.
They got a quick mismatch with their big guy underneath out of bounds, and he kind of gave him some space, and he took it.
Free throws big in every game, and it's a 9-point game here for the Flyers. V. Sanford doing what he does best, penetrating and driving. Ball kept alive, and ball movement. Not just this game, but all three out in Maui.
Yeah, we've really learned how to pass the ball a little bit to one another. I think that's the difference between our team early on and where we're at right now is guys are sharing it.
3-point game. Pangos drives and scores. It's a 1-point game. It's a 3-point game again. They look for a shot down the lane. They get it. It's a 1-point game. Free throws once again. At the line this time, it's Deshaun Pierre. He hits them, but they're going to have one more opportunity.
They kept coming, and Pangos was really hard for us to contain one-on-one, and kind of a mishap on the switch, a wide open look to tie the ball game, and thankfully it didn't go. Kyrie goes in and gets the rebound, and at the end of the day, we iced the game by making, I believe, 6 in a row to finish the game, and Deshaun's 4 were really up against the pressure cooker, too.
Knocked down a couple of free throws, and on the scoreboard, the Flyers end up winning it by the final of 84-79. Jordan Seibert with 23 points. Deshaun Pierre with 15. Good way to start, but in a 3 games in 3 days atmosphere, you got to forget about that pretty quickly.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, as much as you want to celebrate that thing, you got one coming less than 24 hours behind you, and you're having an opportunity to play for the championship in Maui. And we knew we had already drew Baylor. They played before us, and Baylor's kind of been in some of these exempt events with us the past couple of years, so our guys have seen them. And I tell you, when you look at them, it looks like an NBA front line that's walking through the door, and we knew we had a work cut out for us.
All right, when we come back on the Archie Miller Show, we will take game number 2, and unfortunately, Devin Oliver's expression on the floor kind of tells you how it went, but we'll look at all of it when the Archie Miller Show continues. 'Tis the season to stock up on the red and blue, and there's only one place to do that, at the Corporate Casuals Fan Shop. They've reopened down on Brown Street next to BW3's, carrying the best selection and the best brands of Flyer attire for men, women, and children. Don't forget that favorite Flyer fan on your list. Get your holiday shopping done 7 days a week. They're open from 10 to 7 Monday through Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturdays, and noon to 4 on Sundays. You can also shop at the arena during every Flyers home game. Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show. Okay, let's get to game 2 real quickly. A Baylor team that was big on the front line, and that would create some problems.
Yeah, it wasn't only big. I mean, they were tag teamed in there the whole game with Gathers, Austin, and Jefferson, and you can make the case that all 3 of those guys had, NBA size, and we were going to have a work cut out for them. But they were good. I mean, they're a very good team offensively. Defensively, impossible to score around the basket with their length. And coming into the game, we were really nervous about how we were going to play, in terms of being able to score around the basket. So we really wanted to share it, suck those guys in on penetration, see if we could kick it out a few times. And then defensively, we're going to have to do our best to kind of protect that rim as best we could.
All right, let's get right to it. Second game, first half, and the crowd was incredible on the island.
It was incredible all weekend. I felt like we took over Maui.
Outside, Jordan Seibert knocks down the jumper. They led 1-0. They didn't lead again until 12 seconds left to go in the game. As you're pounding it inside, Cav did a nice job.
Good pass by Demo, and I felt like our guys really believed, after that first win, maybe so, but we believed we could play with about anybody out there, and I think our confidence in this Baylor game for about 30 minutes, 34 minutes was as good as any.
Talk about confidence. I've never seen Devin Oliver shoot the ball from 3 that well.
He shot it well in practice, and he's given himself a chance here of late to get a couple open looks, and he's put them in, which is really going to change the complexion of how people view him.
They were a little late closing out in their man-to-man. They ended up going to some zone against you.
Yeah, early on, the driving lanes were right there, and we took advantage of it for the most part. I thought they really did a nice job making some adjustments. They had to take their 2 small guards out, sacrificing offense and putting some bigger size on our guards coming in the game.
Scoochie knocking down a 17-footer as the Flyers build a lead, and that lead got to double digits in the first half. Good hustle here. Oliver swings it, and Jordan Seibert nails the 3.
Yeah, kind of first to the floor, 50-50 ball. We ended up picking it up, and usually good things happen when you get those.
Again, ball movement. Oliver spots up, and nothing but the bottom. The ball movement thing was something that I know you guys have really been working on.
We have. Our first couple games, we've really forced the action. Guys missing open shooters. And I think that it became contagious as we went to Georgia Tech. And then as we got into Maui, we started to figure it out that the more we do this, the better we're going to play.
Big guys trying to guard Devin Oliver way outside there. They're backing off of him a little bit, and he knocks it down. The Flyers take a lead into the locker room. It was a lead that was double digits, but you knew Baylor was going to make a run at you.
We knew they were going to come back, and we also really struggled the back 5 minutes of the first half. You know, that lead that we took into halftime could have been more like 14, 15 than it was actually 10. And we felt good about ourselves. We knew what we were doing. We knew what we had to do to finish the game off. Second half was going to be a game of runs. Baylor was going to come back, and we were just hoping that we could continue to execute. And, you know, we did for the most part, and it kind of got us there at the end.
All right, back out second half action. Let's pick it up from Maui. 33-28 right now, just getting underway. Nice drive, and Jordan Seibert goes up and under.
Yeah, it was a good move, good clear out by him, and again, that drive to pass there by Demos gives Kyrie a wide open look.
Price knocks down the three-pointer as the Flyers get that lead back up to 10, swinging it around. Seibert for a deep three there. And again, seemingly in control early in the second half. Seibert on the breakaway, dunks it home as Dayton keeping that lead around 9-10 points most of the first 5 minutes.
That's what most of the time I thought, even right here, you know, going into about the 14-minute mark, we controlled it with about a 3 or 4 possession lead most of the time.
Down low, Kendall Pollard, tough shot, gets it to go.
Yeah, tough shot by Kendall, big shot by Kendall as well.
Out of the corner, shot missed, but offensive rebound by Deshaun Pierre gets it back up and in, and the Flyers continuing to keep the 9-10 point lead. We are now inside of 10 minutes to play, and Scucci hits a little runner, a little floater down the lane. Flyers still up by 7, penetrating, kicking out. V. Sanford makes it a 10-point game, so things were looking good. What happened down the stretch?
Well, I think it's because it was a matter of 2 things. You know, one, defensively, we really got soft on the ball. They were able to penetrate our paint. And then I would say offensively, just as soft as we are guarding the ball a little bit, we became a little bit lax in our execution. And one thing became another, and the game got really, really close due to that.
That was great execution. 1 second left on the shot clock. You get it to go, but here they come starting to shoot it a little bit. Knocking down a 3 from the outside. We're at 2 minutes to play. It's a 1-point ball game.
Yeah, you know, I think they only made 2 3-point shots the entire 35 minutes and made 2 on us back-to-back. So you could tell our closeouts, we were running short into it. Demo made a big shot there. Even with this 2-possession lead here, this is the other 3 that was a dagger.
There's a big 3 that cuts it back to a 1-point game. Still Flyers on top, got possession, got a decent look. It bounces off, then tipped out of bounds. So they get the ball back inside of a minute left to play. And they go for a tough shot, well defended by Kari Price. It bounces short right to one of their guys for the easy deuce.
Sort of luck of the draw there on the bounce. Good defense by Kari. Jefferson goes to get it.
So you map up a play, and here comes V. Sanford doing what he does very well. Gets penetration, leaves it short, tipped by Demo that falls off the rim.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 20/20. I don't know if you would have done much different there. You had 2 good looks.
We had a spread ball screen with V, and if you need to get a shot, V's probably the most capable guy you have of getting one. And we talked about it, go to the glass as soon as he shot it, and Demo had a good look at it.
So on the scoreboard, 67-66, the Flyers go down. There is 1 game left to play out in Maui, and when we come back on the Archie Miller Show, we will take a look at the Flyers and a different set of Bears. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show. Okay, the perfect season is gone because Baylor knocks you off by 1. But there's 3rd place to play for out in Maui. And Dayton has always played well out there. You look at a 2-1 start the first time, a 3-0, winning the championship your second time on the island. You'd like to keep that momentum going.
No, we did. And, you know, I thought it was very disappointing after the Baylor game. You could feel the pain. But that game was coming around that corner quick. And if you weren't able to get up off the mat or you were thinking about something other than the game, you weren't going to play well. And, you know, giving our guys a little bit of credit, 3rd game in 3 days. We can learn from a lot of things once we get back. But let's get ourselves ready to go for this Cal game, because if you're able to go 2-1 in Maui against the 3 teams that we've played, you know, those are things you can't get back here come later in March.
A Cal team that's probably going to make some noise in the Pac-10, 12.
Well, Mike Montgomery is obviously one of the best coaches in all of college basketball. they were missing probably their most important guy, which is Richard Solomon, their 6'10" big guy. So they were playing a little short-handed, but we watched them play late against Syracuse. They played about 7 guys, and they exhausted themselves. And our depth was going to be huge. We talked to our team about it after the second game, that we needed some other guys to step up and be ready. And I thought that was the thing that was most important in this game. When you looked at the end of the day, 52-8 from the bench, that's why we won.
All right, let's take you back out to Maui and pick up the action early on in the first half here against California. And the Flyers doing what they've done the entire tournament. That's moving the ball around very well.
We did. We got good action. You know, we thought we had a couple mismatches against Cal inside, and for the most part, I thought Devin got off to a great start, and he was able to put a couple in for us. And you know, I thought our inside guys this game played much more efficient than they had earlier.
Going hard to the hole and leaving it off on the pass, and Devin Scott's able to finish it up. This was one of those games where you grabbed a hold of the lead early, and unlike Baylor, you didn't give it back.
No, I thought our guys believed in this game we weren't going to let another one slip away. We had that Baylor thing kind of in our mind the whole time, and I thought we had our foot on the pedal here for the most part of the game, played unselfish, defensively, led to good offense as well.
You look at the 3 freshmen and what they did. Kendall played real well in the opener. Scoochie was solid throughout, but Kyle Davis really came to light this time.
Yeah, Kyle was a big boost for us. When we put him in the game, you know, the game changed, I think, twice. So it was a 23-zip run when he was in both halves. So, you know, it's good to see all 3 of those guys be the guys you believe in, and I think they're going to keep getting better as the season goes.
V. Sanford penetrates and leaves it off as the Flyers building a lead in this game, and a lead that was not going to go away, as Cal really didn't have many answers defensively for your offense.
No, I thought we had some really good matchups against Cal, all the way through Devin Oliver, through V to Jordan, and then, you know, luckily for us, a guy like Jalen came in off the bench and started to play a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talked about the freshman, but Jalen Robinson, who hasn't been much of a factor early in the season, really came to life here.
Yeah, and that's the Jalen I think we've all expected to see a little bit, you know, much more of who he was a year ago, but he's a little bit older, and, you know, he got a window there, and once somebody on our team gets a window and they play well, it's hard to take them out.
Including that Jalen Robinson 3. We've not seen that before.
He asked if I was mad at him once he shot it. I said, you made it. I couldn't be mad at you.
Flyers go up by 10 at the intermission, and Dayton looking to build that 10-point lead out and finish it off in the second half, and that's something that was important to finish up in.
Good first half for us, though. I mean, we played a terrific game defensively. You know, we were really locked in on the scouting things in a short order. We knew Cal was going to be a tough cover, so I thought our defense really created some offense for us. And then offensively, we had some guys being aggressive, moving the ball, playing off each other.
Fatigue didn't look like it was a problem as we go back out to the second half and pick up second half action in this one. The Flyers with the 10-point lead at halftime, but continuing to play well. And there's Jalen Robinson doing a lot of good things.
Good finishing. He's finishing around the basket, which is good to see. We needed that. And unfortunately, we couldn't get this guy Cobbs under the wraps here. He had about 6 in a row on us, and you know, he was trying to win that game single-handedly.
Yeah, Justin Cobbs cuts it down to what is now a 2-point game, but Devin Oliver misses, tips his own back up and in. Devin playing really well, but here's Kyle Davis, kicks it off, and Oliver knocking down a big 3 right there.
Big pass by Kyle off the defense. It really started to stop their run. It led to another transition opportunity here for Demo on the break, and I thought right around this point of the game, when they made their run, we responded, thought we were in control for the rest of the way.
Back up by 11 with about 12 minutes left to play in this one. This was the one that lit up everybody. We're going to see this about 3 different times. Kyle Davis going down the lane. The seas just opened up down that lane.
Well, they were in a zone underneath. We spread them out. The ball got moved. It came right back to him, and you could see him. He just took right off on it. Great finish with 2 hands as well. And that's what Kyle brings us, man, a little bit of toughness.
Now, we were talking, because you said you'd seen that from him, but not in a college game.
Not in a college game. You know, Kyle's always renowned for his athleticism and his quickness. And watching him grow up in high school a little bit, you saw him dunk a lot. And in practice, he's bouncy, but I haven't seen him do that in a college game.
Speaking of bouncy, Devin Oliver to Devin Scott and a 2-hand jam. And with about 7 minutes left to play, it was just a matter of a final score as V. Sanford knocks down a short shot down low. And here's Jalen Robinson again, spinning, shooting, scoring, and drawing a foul.
Yeah, good move there by Jalen and letting us get the ball inside out. Great pass by V on the ball screen. Good finish, too, by Jalen. That's the thing that he did in this game is he put the ball in the basket.
You know, basketball's a confidence game. You look at a guy like Jalen Robinson, who may have struggled first couple of games, but he got confidence and he was feeling good.
He felt really good. He looked good, too. I mean, he was scoring the ball, and I thought our ball movement, again, just continues to get better and gives us easy opportunities.
16, 18 points the lead got to. That's what it ended up finishing at as Deshaun Pierre goes to the basket, and it ends up 82-64, the largest margin of victory for the Flyers all season, and a good way to come back home.
That was a great finish to us. I was proud of our guys for the way they responded, and when you look at the body of work that they endured, leaving on a Tuesday, playing on the road at Georgia Tech, getting the win, having to fly all the way out to Maui, be out there for about 2 or 3 days to practice and prepare, and then at the end of the day play 3 games in 3 days against, you know, arguably probably the best 3 games in a row that we've played. And you look at the 4-game stretch, I can say that our guys are consistent right now in terms of a lot of different things, but we're playing pretty well.
Time to take another break. We will be back to wrap things up, talk about a week ahead when the Archie Miller Show continues, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Archie Miller Show and the travel from Maui. You know, Maui's a beautiful place to visit, but that travel's a beast. And you got back to Cincinnati about, what, 4 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, we took the red eye right out of Maui after the Cal game. We flew out around 11 o'clock and got to L.A. in the morning. Had a couple-hour layover. Took off about 8 o'clock from L.A. and made the jaunt across to Cincinnati. And, you know, by the time we got off Cincinnati, got the bus and got the guys back to the, you know, the dorm room, so to speak, with a little baggie of turkey, it was about 6 o'clock before everyone, you know, all said and done. And I tell you, what they don't tell you about going to Maui is it takes you about a week to recover from the travel and the time change. So that's what we've been focused on since we've gotten back, is trying to get our guys back ready.
And the good thing is the Flyers had some time because they don't play until Wednesday. It's a 2-game week for Dayton as Delaware State comes to town at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Then you go to Illinois State at 8 o'clock on Saturday. Not to overlook the Delaware State game, but we do, of course, have an opponent that we played last year in Illinois State. They came in here and stole a win from you last year.
Yeah, it was a terrific team that came in here last year. Jackie Carmichael was fabulous in that game. They had a lot of guys. Much different team this year in terms of their personnel. It's almost completely revamped. So going on the road, doesn't really matter who you play. When you go on the road, it's always going to be difficult. But we got Delaware State on Wednesday. We have some time here to get ourselves ready to go. And we've talked a lot about this week being a big week for us, breaking through.
Quickly, I think I've had a couple of people ask me about Alex Gavrilovich. Alex has been experiencing some back issues.
Yeah, he's had some back spasms before we went to Atlanta. Didn't practice before we went to Atlanta. Had a hard time sort of being able to move. And then worked on him very hard as we got out there on a 10-hour flight. He worked very hard while he was out there, and it just didn't seem like it was going to come together for him. He never practiced for about 10 to 12. So we're going to get him back in the groove here, and we'll see where it goes.
All right.